Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Chris. I hope you're doing good. Today I want to talk about the Tamron 11 to 20 f2.8 for Fuji mount, and I will be comparing it or talking as well about the 10 to 24 f4 from Fuji. Let's tackle this review. In terms of weight, we are at 335 grams for the Tamron compared to 410 grams for the Fujinon 10 to 24. So you are basically gaining 75 grams with the Tamron compared to the Fuji lens. In terms of length, we're pretty much the same, 86 mm for the Tamron f2.8 and 87 millimeters for the Fujinon. So you're basically gaining a whooping 1 millimeter for the Tamron. Filter thread wise, we're at 67 mm for Tamron and 72 for Fuji. Now, Tamron does this right. All of their lenses, or pretty much, have a filter thread of 67 millimeters. Why is that great? Because if you have accessories throughout all your lenses, and that goes also for the Sony lenses that I shoot with on my Sony a7S III, they all use 67 millimeters. So if I need to use the same filter thread for different filters or different accessories, I can do so. In terms of aperture, Tamron has a maximum aperture of f2.8 like we saw before, and the Fujinon has a maximum aperture of f4. The minimum aperture for the Tamron is f16, and the Fuji has a minimum aperture of f22. Now, I don't know about you, but I usually don't close my lens more than f16 or usually even f11. So having a minimum aperture of f22 does not make a big difference for me. In terms of build quality, the Tamron is basically made of plastic as compared to the Fujinon that is made of metal all around, besides maybe the focusing ring. Now, we know Fuji makes really good lenses in terms of build quality. This thing has lasted me forever. Tamron does good quality too, and if you treat it right, which I normally do, I don't know about you, but it will last you many years as well. So that is probably one of the reasons why this lens is lighter than this one. Tamron did a good job. I find the images pretty sharp, crisp, good contrast compared to the Fujinon. That is an excellent lens, we know that already. So yeah, they did a good job, I think. In terms of focusing speed, they're pretty much on par. I found Tamron to be real quick, real snappy, didn't miss any focus ever. So I think it does a very good job, as well as obviously the Fujinon. It is also very good for video, or so I read. I didn't test it myself because I don't shoot video with Fuji, but I read it is silent and snappy. Both these lenses have weather resistance or weather sealing, so if you go in humid and or dusty environment, you're gonna be okay. In fact, I did go to some caves. They're called Grotte de Valorbe, which is close by here in Switzerland, and it is basically inside a mountain. It is very dark, very humid. In fact, outside we had 34 degrees Celsius and inside there was 10 degrees of natural AC or fridge, if you want to call it that way. And I took a bunch of shots. I went there earlier before they opened for the public, and I took great photos actually. I was pretty happy with the results, even though there was only a few spotlights, artificial lights. So it's really hard to shoot. I had to do HDR and so forth. So anyway, the sensor and the lens did not have any problem, any issue. It was very humid. I mean, anything you touch there, the floor, the metal staircase, anything is full of water. It's like dripping water everywhere. And I came out, no problem, no worries whatsoever. One interesting thing with the Tamron is when you open this guy at 11 millimeters, so you go full wide angle, you can get real close and you can do macro photography, like wide angle macro photography. You can get so close that you almost touch the front elements with whatever the subject you're trying to photograph. Wherein the Fujinon needs about 10 centimeters, something like this, to focus as a minimum distance. That can be real cool if you want to take some macro shots of, bugs, plants, flowers, or anything that you feel like you want to get close to, you can do so. This is the older model of the 10 to 24 f4. I didn't upgrade. So on the new one, there is the aperture ring. The Tamron does not have it, but I don't think it's a deal breaker in this case because it is a very wide angle lens. So when I want to take photos, let's say of a landscape or real estate or whatnot, I will set my aperture to a determined specific aperture, such as f5.6, f8, f11 maybe. And once you set it, you're good to go. So who cares? The Fuji lens has optical image stabilization and the Tamron does not have that. Now, is that a problem? Honestly and actually, no, not at all. I don't even know why you would have optical stabilization on this lens. A, it is a wide angle lens, and the wider you go, the more stable your shot is going to be. And B, if you're going to shoot out, you're going to be shooting on the tripod. If you don't have enough light, you will definitely put it on the tripod. And when you put a camera with a lens on a tripod, you usually remove the image stabilization. So not having it is definitely not an issue. And let's tackle finally the price, which is one of the most important points. The Tamron costs around $650 to $700 currently. And the Fujinon lens, the new version, the V2, costs around $999 at B&H. So that is a difference of roughly $300 to $350, which means basically that the Tamron lens is 30% cheaper than the Fuji counterpart. So do you actually need those few differences that Fuji provides? That is kind of a question you need to ask yourself, but I find this Tamron to be really appealing for people that do a lot of even astrophotography with the f2.8 maximum aperture, that do real estate, architecture, landscapes, or anything where you need to go wide. I think this is a really good alternative. And if you're hesitating between the two, I would definitely give it a test if you can. Let me know if you have any question, write it down in the comment section below. I'll answer it gladly as soon as possible. And until the next video, keep taking wide angle shots. Cheers.